Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're reviewing part 3 of the Mutants. We are halfway through the story, and I'm still liking it. There is so much going on in this story. It never seems to drag, at least thus far. Lots of stuff, lots of plot being advanced, lots of action going on, and I'm enjoying that. Again, as I mentioned in the first 2 reviews, I like having another third Doctor story where he's off-planet doing Doctor stuff, because most of his tenure, he's exiled on Earth doing Earth stuff. So it's nice to see him out in space. I don't even know where to begin. There's just so much going on in this. The scene that really threw me off is when Jo got separated, because of course she did. Oh, that scene when she runs off. I'm like, Jo! I didn't realize her and the kind of rebel leader were so far apart, because I had thought he was just, fighting them off kind of just right next to where she was, basically, just barely out of the line of sight. But it actually looks like he had hidden her a little further away. That was interesting. So I kind of see why she ran off when she was confronted with one of them, but I was still like, Jo! And right as the Doctor shows up too, of course. But that little bit when she stumbles into that area of the cave and everything goes psychedelic. All the weird lights flashing. The guy who looks like he's in like a hazmat spacesuit or something. Okay, interesting. I didn't see that coming. That just kind of came out of nowhere, like, was not expecting this. Interesting. Raises more questions. What is this? What is going on here? That's pretty nifty. We finally get to see the mutants for the first time, like a really good shot of the mutants, and I can't decide whether I like the costume or not. In some shots it doesn't look that great, in other shots it looks pretty good. It's definitely different and an interesting look, and it does look very alien, so I will definitely give it that. It's nice to see the Doctor finally get to meet, what is it, Kill, whatever the rebel leader is now. I'm just going to call him the rebel leader. They actually get to meet, and once they actually start talking, they get along. It's neat to find out what's in the box he's been trying to get the rebel leader is just stone carvings, but nobody understands the symbol. That's like an ancient language on this planet, and most of the people there can't understand it, including the rebel leader, and the Doctor doesn't know. The Doctor just knows, hey, these were sent for a reason. Somebody went through a lot of trouble for me to get these to you. They're probably important. That's pretty neat. The guy playing the Marshal continues to impress me. I really like him. I like the fact that Marshal is very intelligent. I mean, he's, an evil baddie, but he's smart too. Like the fact he figured out the 2 security guards had betrayed him without letting on. He knew they'd betrayed him, and how he traps them at the end in with the Doctor and the rebel leader and all of them. I do like the fact he figured that out and kind of set them up in a trap there. That's pretty cool. The 2 security guards are still good. I like the fact they are trying to make sure the Doctor's all right. They still think their cover hasn't been blown. So I'm enjoying them still in this. It's interesting when you see someone who's partially transformed, kind of like the old man that the guy I call the warrior, the one that's like the opposite of the rebel leader. When he finds the old man who's partially transformed, it's cool makeup, like the stuff on the back and the face. I really did like the makeup effect, because imagine, excuse me, my sinuses are really acting up. Can you imagine, going through that, feeling that? That's got to be terrifying. Although he just kind of seemed resigned to it, and it is affecting him mentally. So when you see the warrior start to get, that on his hand, where it looks like he's going to start changing. Because the story does mention they're changing at a more rapid pace, and that the planet's moving from its spring into its summer, the temperature's rising, which really makes me wonder more and more if them mutating is an effect of the atmosphere being changed by the Marshal doing his experiments, or if it's more of a natural life cycle, which would really be interesting. So I'm curious to find out more what's causing the mutation, whether that's part of their cycle or whether that's artificially induced. That's fascinating to me. I'm looking forward to seeing how that resolves. And the fact that when the warrior guy is changing, he starts hearing those thoughts in his head, like, go to the safe place, go to the place to sleep. You know, obviously something's influencing them mentally too. That's pretty cool. Man, it's so weird because, like, this feels like the third episode of a 4-parter. Like, it's getting all the final pieces in place on the board, setting it up for the, you know, the final episode. It feels like that. It feels like getting everything set up for an ending. But at 6 parts, that means there's still, you know, half the story to go. So I'm expecting the story to take some twists and turns, kind of like how Colony in Space does. A lot of things in Colony in Space don't really happen until episode 4, like the Master showing up and finding out more really about the city and how that ties into everything. Because the first 3 episodes are more the colonists versus the miners. It's not until episode 4, halfway through, you have all of these other plot points really start showing up. So I kind of wonder if that's going to happen here, where we're only halfway through, and now suddenly in episodes 4, 5, and 6, there's going to be all of this other stuff going on. So I'm curious to see if the story is going to pivot and do some different things. But I liked episode 3. Again, a lot happened in this episode. The cliffhanger is pretty good cliffhanger with the gas coming in. Curious to see how they're going to get out of that, since the Marshal did seal all the caves. Yeah, halfway into the Mutants, I'm enjoying the Mutants and definitely finding it to be, much like Nightmare of Eden and Creature from the Pit, I'm finding it to be a very underrated story like those are. So, part 3 of the Mutants, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I am trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers in 2023. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There is a link to that down in the description below as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, Finn Perkins, and Unknown289. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have my P.O. box down in the description if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. And a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. But most importantly, thank you for watching.